who we got tonight, guys.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome to the Roy Brothers podcast.
I'm very excited.
Eddie, it's good to have you, brother.
Yep.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yep. You drove all over the all over. You drove over the dreaded bridge
I did.
from East Providence to get here. I appreciate it. Just to sit, kind of queer on my couch, but it's okay.
Hey, man, if the bar wasn't under me, bro.
Fucking.
So what Kyle said last time is true, huh?
I mean,
the bar. Yeah, we put a pillow there.
It's not too bad right now.
That's good.
I'm caked up, so I got some cushion.
Caked up.
I got
That's
some
funny.
cushion.
I was gonna say it's not toilet. Yeah.
So we got Eddie. Eddie, how do we address you? Edward, Eduardo, Ed? Eddie?
No, you could Eddie. I prefer
Mhm.
Eddie with an I-E. I feel like the Y is for like kids or
Like Ed and Eddie.
yeah.
Yeah. So we got Eddie Marin on.
What do you call? What's his nickname? What do you call him, Rob? What do you say?
Fellow. Well, we're gonna get into that.
I was not aware of this.
Fellow local comic, and I guess let's just kick it off with and real quick, the nickname that I gave him is Savage Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
That's my new nickname for him, and you'll see it if you check out episode 1 with Kyle Cody. We talk about Eddie a little bit, but this guy turns out he's a roast master.
Eddie's funny.
Thank you.
But where it all let's get to where it all began. So we met you at John Prada's comedy class back in November. So I think when we first met you, you were sitting at an opposite table, and we kind of looked at each other because we were talking like, hey, why don't you come join us? And we've been workshopping and stuff like that since. So dude, I mean, I love shooting the shit with you, dude, and hanging out, and we do the open mics a lot. You know what I mean? Together, me, you, and Rob, Kyle, and all that stuff. So you're my favorite Romanian. I don't know any other Romanian actually. So
I know I'm trying to write a bit about that.
What, Romanians?
There's not a lot of Romanians out.
No, not Romanian comedians.
No, not at all. I googled some of them. There's like one guy maybe in Chicago.
Yeah, really.
Which, interestingly enough, there's a lot of Romanians in Chicago apparently. Tons of them. My mom says you go there, there's tons of festivals and shit.
It's kind of like the Portuguese in Fall River and New Bedford over here.
Yep.
Oh, dude, that's why
shout out to my Portuguese brothers.
My parents moved to Portugal. My parents moved to Fall River because of the bread. My father
the
said
Portuguese have the best sweet bread and of course the caserla.
My dad says you wake up in the morning and go to the bakery like back in Romania.
Nice. I have to check out Fall River's bread sometime. Whenever
you
I'm out and about.
TT goes over there and
yeah.
usually gets the bread and the caserla for me.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, so like I said, we met in John Prada's comedy class. Shout out to him in the class, by the way. But what made you end up in the class? Like, what made you start comedy anyway?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of kickstarted it all?
So, if I'm being honest, back in like 2018, 2017, so like I always wanted to do comedy. Growing up, my family was always into comedy. I always watched a lot of comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was always just like, oh, like that seems like awesome. I like making people laugh. I was always a class clown. And then when I was in college, I was like, I really don't like college. I was like, this just didn't seem like it was for me. I didn't want to do it. And I was like, I'm going to quit and I'm going to go be a comedian.
There you go.
So I started writing jokes, watching tons of stand-up specials on YouTube.
Wait, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
You said I'm going to quit. Fuck college.
I'm going to be a comedian. So I started.
Shit.
Yeah, so I started
didn't know that.
watching like fucking mad YouTube stuff and everything. But at the same time,
man. That's awesome.
My family was starting a coffee shop business. They were starting Cafeology, represent paid promotion. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's cool. Yeah, plug that later because I definitely want to check that out. But
it's pretty close over here.
That's wild, dude.
Location. But so they were starting that, and then honestly, back then, like trying to like get into comedy. If you typed in open mics near me, I couldn't find shit. I couldn't find anything. I was living in Fall River with my parents. Couldn't find any open mics. Type in comedy schools. Couldn't find anything for some reason. Mm-hmm. Comedy was just such a different field back then, a different game. Now it's way more accessible with social media and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So now I got back into comedy because I spent some time working in my family's business, trying to help them out as much as I could. And I always thought I wanted to be like an entrepreneur.
Yep.
That is probably the most difficult thing you can do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy at all. Literally, entrepreneurship is just solving as many problems as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't think I want to do this either.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got to figure out something to do with my life. So I went back to school, finished that. Now I have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I don't like my job, but now I'll listen to comedy when I'm driving.
Yep.
And I'm like, I think I want to do this again.
Yeah.
Like, I think I want to try to get back into it. And like listening to Joe Rogan sometimes too, he'll talk about like different things about like like the personality of a comedian, the way comedians think, and literally I'll just be like, oh, I think like that. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly how I think. And I was like, I gotta try it. So
Mm-hmm.
I found the comedy class online.
Yep.
The thing that made me sign up, like I read about it and I was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And then I read uh John Perrotta, Good Friends with Bill Burr, and I was like, I'm going. I'm
Sold.
going.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going. I hit him up
Yeah.
that day and I was like, it was like literally the day before
Mm-hmm.
the class started.
Really? I didn't
Yeah,
even know you jumped on that last minute.
literally the day before. And then I always tried to do the Comedy Connection one.
Mm-hmm.
Never know when it starts. Always when I look into it, it's halfway in, and I'm like, I'm not getting on there now.
I saw the same thing
Mm-hmm.
actually,
Yeah.
the Comedy Connection one, and then
I
obviously
didn't know they.
me and
I
Parada.
heard about it.
And Matt,
Um,
bring that up to your face, would you?
this guy. Yeah.
No, we won't be able to hear your sexy voice if you don't bring that up to your face a little bit more.
Dude, I hear myself over the video, and it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Like even like if you watch your sets, I think I sound like such an idiot, but I'm getting used to it.
Well, I
You
mean,
know
at
what I
that
mean?
distance, you're basically clipping on your shirt, which was a failure during the mic
Yeah.
test.
Hey, I
So
tried. It was
come
hanging
on,
off,
brother.
but because it feels weird to me. You know what I mean? I keep looking
It should
down
feel
on it.
natural to you, bro. You're a fucking comic now. You have a mic in your face 2 times a week, right?
Well, this looks like I don't know. Looks like it cut someone's hair off their head and stuck it on a mic.
And no one can hear you say what you're saying right now.
Yeah. But anyway, um, so yeah, like you were saying. So you saw the this guy's making fun of me over here. So you were saying so you saw it online and you jumped on last minute. So
Yeah,
and then John was like, yeah, no problem. That's pretty cool that you got you on
yeah.
such last minute notice. I don't know if there was a time frame they were accepting client classmates or whatever. That's good. I'm glad you jumped on it.
I'm
So
glad too, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it was a fun class.
Oh, the best,
So
honestly.
you got on there, and then so it was pretty much you saying like you were in school and I want to do comedy, and
Yeah.
then you did the John Pross comedy class. That's pretty awesome. So
One thing too to add quick to that I
yeah.
forgot to say is I also had the worst stage fright of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like anytime I thought about going on a stage, I'd be like, this is so bad. Like I can't do this, and I'd like choke up, and my heart would beat out of my chest. My legs would shake to the point that I would be like, I think people can see my legs shaking. I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
like
I get
ever
that.
since the comedy thing, like I definitely got past that now. Like when we did the roast,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that
the
was
whole
great.
time I was doing the roast, I realized I was like, instead of being scared to go up, I was like, I gotta get up. I gotta get up.
Yeah,
I
you
was
just got to
eager.
do it.
Savage Eddie came out to play, man.
That was
Oh, dude,
probably one
yeah.
of the best times I saw you up there. You've always killed it, but like right there, like you just, I was like, wow, you had that whole place was like loud, dude. That whole place was alive. That was great. You know,
Thank you, thank you.
that was awesome. So, like, right, well, you know why, we know why you kind of got into comedy, but like, what do you get out of it? Like, what do you find yourself getting out of comedy? You know what I mean? When you're doing it or
Yeah.
writing or anything like that.
If you guys didn't hear that, what do you get out of comedy, Eddie?
Yeah,
I'm
I said
just
it three
busting you up, buddy.
times.
Speak up.
Hey, I know I mumble a lot. Anyway,
That shit used to be fire in 2016. The mum rap.
you sca-
Savage Matt needs to come out
you
and play.
scared my cat.
So yeah. What I get out of comedy, um, I always liked to talk,
Hmm.
and I always liked to make people laugh.
Hmm.
So I've always been like the funny guy. You
Hmm.
know, like I was hanging out with one of my friends the other day. He's a plumber,
Yeah.
and he was like, I feel like if you were on a construction site,
Hmm.
you would be the worst guy in the crew, but they'd be like, oh, he's funny. We'll keep him.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
keep paying him.
Yeah.
So I always liked being the funny guy. I always liked making people laugh,
Hmm.
and I always felt like I. I mean, it sounds weird, but I always felt like I had something to say.
Hmm.
Like I had something. If I said something, people were like, "That's interesting. That's funny."
Hmm.
Like I'll listen to him talk. You know?
Yeah. So you like making people laugh, and you like kind of putting what you got to say out there, but in like comedy form, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely in
Yeah.
comedy form. Um, and like I always think about like funny things or
Hmm.
like joke ideas just pop in my head. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I'll just be like thinking about something. I'll be like, that's funny. Let me write it down.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think you and Rob workshop really well together. You guys were in the same group chat, and you guys like have like generally, and I think in the same sense of humor, and you guys I think you guys work well together, for sure. You guys got me laughing my ass off a lot of the times. You guys have the balls to go up there and say things, because like I was saying in the last episode, if you guys haven't watched it, like, you know,
Yeah,
um,
we'll link that actually. We'll link
yeah,
that episode that he's talking about at the end of the video. But
yeah, like I'm more of a clean comic. I don't have the balls to say certain things, but at the same time, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I'm okay to come out of my shell, but I like the clean comedy in my opinion. It's just something that works for me. So like with you guys, what I'm trying to say is you guys feel like, have a bit more of the, the riskier comedy, and I kind of appreciate that because you got to kind of keep that alive too. You know what I mean?
For sure. Freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's funny you say that because in the last episode I was talking about that. Again, I'm gonna link it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think
freedom of speech is definitely important.
freedom of speech is important, and
Mm.
again, I said it in the first episode, and it doesn't. It's not this serious, but I do think that at a certain extent, First Amendment like will die at stand up almost.
Oh, so
You know
actually,
what I mean?
something interesting. I used to listen to this podcast, um, and I don't remember what podcast it was, but one of the episodes he was talking about dictatorships,
Mm-hmm.
and in a country where there's a dictator and a totalitarian government,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing they outlaw is comedy, because it's the ultimate version of freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're doing comedy, you can get away with saying whatever you want, and
Mm-hmm.
when you can say something that gets people thinking, but they're off guard because they're laughing,
Mm-hmm.
you change people's minds. You
Mm-hmm.
change people's emotions and opinions on things without even
It's
realizing it.
funny. Have you ever looked into some of the history of stand up? And I found this really interesting. I forgot the gentleman's name from back maybe, I don't know, 50s, 60s, 70s era maybe,
Hmm.
where like the FBI raided one of his shows
You
because
talking about Lenny Bruce?
Lenny
Lenny, Lenny fucking
Lenny Bruce.
Bruce.
I can't believe I
Yeah,
forgot
he
that
like
name.
swore and got arrested for swearing
And
and thrown in prison.
he died before his sentence commuted. I think obviously he was out of prison at the time, but the fact was he didn't get commuted before he died.
Yeah.
And I thought that was insane. That was kind of inspirational, to
You
be
know
honest.
George Carlin?
Yep.
Yeah,
They
of
say
course.
without Lenny Bruce, you don't have George Carlin, because Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce
I
like
could see that.
swore, got arrested. What it was? It was like profanity in public or something. He got arrested for, and then George Carlin's like, I don't remember his joke specifically. But he says 7 bad words. He says
Yeah.
like fuck, bitch, and then he says the c word.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
That's
like his first like big joke.
dude, that's awesome. I didn't even know that because
Yeah.
so I was reading this book. I forget what it's called. Actually, it was called oh my god, it was by Rosenfield. You have the same book,
Mm-hmm.
Mastering Stand Up.
Mastering Stand
Got
Up.
the
So
same book.
in the book, he talks about Lenny Bruce, and I keep an index card when I read, right? And it's called a bib card. If you know what a Zettelkasten and note taking system
Yep.
is, it's insane. So I keep a bib card, and you write down things that resonate with you in your own words for later. And I wrote that down. And it's funny you say about the George Carlin bit because I put possible joke question mark, and I was gonna say in honor of Lenny Bruce, fuck, cunt, piss, bitch, motherfucker, cocksucker.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say that, but I had no idea George Carlin did something similar. That's
Yeah,
pretty
he
cool,
did. Yeah. He's like, there's 7 bad words you can't say on TV, and he says all of them.
dude.
He says all of them.
And there you go, First Amendment for the win.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I definitely think comedy is a, it's a form of expression, and obviously, First Amendment is important with comedy or any type of speech. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of comics use it in a way to, show their not too many comics I've seen like I don't know like Dave Chappelle in my opinion. I feel like he's kind of given his political opinion through comedy, and that's
Mm-hmm.
protected through freedom of speech or whatever. And I think that's fine. In my opinion, as long as you're not getting too political, that's fine with me. Because at the end, me just personally, I like to watch comedy to kind of escape from that stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think I definitely think it's important to just remember that like you should be able to joke about. I would say everything, but I feel like there's certain things we got to draw the line somewhere, but generally, in my opinion, comedy, it's like, it's a form of expression. You can put your views out there and
Yeah.
all that stuff, you know what I mean? But, I just think that, um, it all comes down to your crowd at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I've seen, we've been doing open mics together pretty much for ever since we graduated the class now. But like, what do you find like your style of comedy has been? Do you think it's changed, or do you think you're kind of doing the same thing, or do you think you're gonna maybe want to do more like crowd work now that you've done that roast? Do you find yourself kind of seeing that route as an option, or?
So, being 6 months in,
Mm-hmm.
I have been thinking about like what my style of comedy is,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be a one-liner. Nothing wrong with it. One-liners are awesome,
Yeah.
but I've always kind of been more of like a storyteller.
Yeah.
But writing stories is so hard, because like I told you guys, I've been listening to like Louis C.K.
Yep.
and I'm reading this book that you guys definitely have to read. It's called Step by Step to Stand Up by Greg Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Great book. I'm like 70 pages in. He has like a joke writing system, and so like not to get too off track, but like like how they say a joke is a setup and a punchline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way more than that. In this book, he goes, they tell you a joke is a setup and a punchline, but really, when you break it down, it's a setup. So, you set up the joke, and then the first thing after your setup is somebody's gonna make a story in their heads of the thing you said,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to, as a comedian, to make a punchline. What is their assumption about the setup?
Mm-hmm.
What made them think that? And then you flip and reinterpret the connector of the assumption.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you guys an example, um, one thing he says is like to like try it. He gives you a statement. He goes, "I was stuck in the hospital for a week." That's the setup. You
Mm-hmm.
have to make a joke off of that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more of a dirtier comedian, so I instantly thought something dirty. But so the first thing I thought of is, okay, so assumption and first story. All right, assumption. I was sick. Somebody was sick. I was sick. Why did I think that? The word hospital. That's the connector.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to like that's the first story, hospital, whatever. You have to choose an assumption. So I'm going to choose the assumption of I was sick in the hospital. So I'm going to flip that.
Mm-hmm.
I was stuck in the hospital for a week. Last time I asked my wife to do ass to mouth. Right? And now you're like, wait,
That's
he
funny.
asked his wife to do it. So now she's sick.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
funny.
That's why he's in the
I was
hospital.
going the same way. It's like, oh, I was in the hospital. Probably shouldn't have put a toy car in the condom.
Right? So now with that punchline, you've created a second story in their heads that was opposite from the first story, and now that's the funny.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to. So tag, right? A tag for a joke. Here's the tag that I thought of for this, which puts it all together. Because then when you make a tag for a joke, that's another punchline,
Mm-hmm.
and you flip the second story,
Mm-hmm.
and now you get like kind of like a third story.
Yeah.
So I was stuck in the hospital for a week. Last time I asked my wife to do ass to mouth,
Yeah.
but everybody has a fantasy. She wanted to try pegging. So now I
Mm.
flipped it. I was sick. I was sick because I asked my wife to do ass to mouth after she begged me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like that's three
Yeah.
stories in somebody's head
Yeah.
from 3 sentences.
So there's a whole science to
Wow.
it.
Yeah,
So you're the dude. You're Savage Eddie, and you're also Scientist Eddie.
I'm
Apparently,
trying to break it down.
that's insane to
Comedic
think about it.
science,
And
Eddie.
it's kind of like this. It's kind of magic because first of all, I don't know if anyone else. I'm probably other stand-ups think about it that way, right?
Oh,
Maybe
I
like
don't know.
take your famous guys like you said, Louis or like a Shane, right? And do you think they think about it like that? Because if they do, then they do a freaking awesome job making it look like they're finding this out for
So
the
like
first time as they
Mm.
tell their stories, and that is magic.
to go back to like to circle back to your
Yeah.
question, what kind of comedy? Storytelling. So I'm reading this book, learn about setups and punchlines. I'm listening to Louis, and I go,
Mhm.
where the fuck is the setup and the punchline? But you're laughing,
Yeah.
so they're hiding it in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm
I
trying to
think,
do.
yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think you're definitely taking the right direction. You're definitely comedy literate. I would say, dude, you reading all these books and stuff like that. That's definitely the right route to take. I mean, I think I don't think I think you just can't get in it and just say a couple jokes, and then I think at the end of the day, you need to know some type of structure. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
take
Yeah.
my wife.
Huh?
Take my wife. No, take her.
What do
I
you-
got you. Yeah,
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know what
like
this
that,
guy's
right?
talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just piggybacking off what you're saying. Like from that angle, you can go into the more storytelling type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Well, like I said, you can break it down to a million ways. You know what I mean? I definitely think you introduced me to some books, me and Rob. You know what I mean? I'm
Hmm.
reading that comedy book you mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
generally, I just write things and just try to create some type of story and then go back to it. Mind mapping, dude. Mind mapping that fucked me up. Did
Yeah.
you do a good job with it?
No, I didn't even.
Yeah.
I
I
like the
didn't do
mind mapping.
anything she told me to do.
So I take I was I haven't done it lately, but I would take a sheet of printer paper like 8.5 by 11, and I'd have it and I'd fold it in half and I'd open it, and then one side, the open side would be the mind map, and then you close it, and the front and back would be what I write from the mind map on the front and back.
That's actually pretty cool. That's actually
Mhm.
pretty awesome.
It worked for me. I guess it's just how different people perceive, different people learn differently. I
Mhm.
guess
Yeah, yeah.
mind map it worked for me a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna go a little off script here. And is there any like, do you have
What
any like
script?
insight to like a joke? You know what I mean? I'm like work. I don't want to get off topic of what you're saying, but like, can you provide us any insight on any like jokes you're working on? Or is there anything like
Yeah.
that you would want to share with us just to like put it out there? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
sure.
think if is it okay if I mention your vampire joke just a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah, for
dude?
sure.
I think that joke is so funny.
Really, you
Yeah,
like it?
talking about like Dracula and coming out late at night and all this stuff like that. That's funny. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I definitely think like I think you should share that a little bit. You don't have to if you want. You know what I mean? Just I
No,
think
for
that's
sure.
funny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know?
I think it's funny too, and I think you're exposing the Romanian culture is really cool because
I'm
Yeah,
trying to make
it,
an angle from
dude.
that.
This guy
Yeah.
came in.
ever since we met you in the class, you were ripping Romanian jokes, and it was
Yeah.
freaking hilarious.
Even to this day, this
Yeah.
guy comes in and sees my. You guys can't see it, but I got my horror movie collection over here in the corner, and I got Nosferatu on the shelf. And this guy goes, "You know that's a Romanian word? I didn't know that."
Yeah. It means like uh I mean we usually say it like when you can't like stand somebody, but it's about something like evil or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you can't like suffering, end the suffering something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have known
Nesufărat.
that. Yeah. See, dude.
Nesufăratul, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who that is, right? If
Yep.
you
Yeah,
guys can
yeah.
see, yeah, there you go.
Nesufăratul.
Well, I think you
I
could
dude,
like.
I would have never known that. I thought that was just the vampire's name,
Dude,
dude.
there's so much like Romanians invented pastrami. Nobody knows that.
They invented pastrami.
You're not the Jews. Sorry. I've been trying to make a bit
Yeah.
about that, like trying to
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out, but like
You can get there.
everybody.
But
So
I
it,
love
it was
pastrami.
Romanian Jews.
Good to know.
So Romanian Jews brought pastrami from Romania to Lower Manhattan, Lower East Side Manhattan in New York, which used to be called Little Romania in the 1800s. A little history lesson for you. And
Didn't know that.
This
traditionally,
guy's smart. He's got
oh yeah, dude.
Romanian history, comedy.
Those glasses ain't for
and-
show, dude. This
yeah.
guy's smart, man. Holy
Comedy
shit.
makes me dig deeper into myself, into like the world around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like comedy, I mentioned this before in an earlier episode, like people talk about their experiences, or I've heard people say trauma, or just things in general that like about their life and their history. Like you definitely bring on a lot about your Romanian background, which I think is pretty awesome because it sounds corny, but I like meeting people of all different backgrounds because you
Yeah.
hear different stories. I would have never known what you just told me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude.
And
That's awesome.
It's a lot
And
of fun.
that brings me back to your bit about your dad and the pastrami.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
If Mr. Marin is hearing this right now, does he know about that joke?
No, he doesn't really know about any of my jokes.
Oh my
Yeah, he just tells me.
God,
He
it's
told me
so
the other day
funny.
to do crowd work. He goes, the comedians in Romania, they make up jokes on the spot. I said, Dad, they're not making up jokes. And they go there, they make jokes. That's what they do. I said, Dad, it's called crowd work. It's very calculated. They know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
That's the thing too. Everyone likes crowd work right now, I think too, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I just thought it's funny you bring up crowd work because everybody I talk to is like, Roy, you gotta try some crowd work. You gotta do that. They saw this guy.
It's so hot right now.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Just a South Park drop.
We're gonna take.
It's so hot, right? He's so hot right now.
Yeah.
For South Park. Stupid joke.
What episode
Never
was
mind.
that?
Oh, that was oh God, who's the girl? Lord or whatever. She's so hot right
Lordy.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Randy
Rand-
pretends he's Lord or something
yeah.
like that.
So I
Oh,
think
God.
that was I don't know. But anyway, stupid
Yeah.
Have
joke.
you guys played the South Park game?
I watched my wife play it from beginning to end. It's like watching the show.
Did
It's
you
so
see the
cool.
difficulty rating?
No.
So when you make
Wait,
your,
which one? Fractured Butthole or the other one?
I think it's both of them. So when you make your character, if you're white, the game is easy, and when you make the game hard, you get black, you turn black.
Oh man,
Dude,
that's so
it's
funny.
wild. I think
Yeah, all I know is like
that's the
Jared
difficulty.
Fogle trying to chase you around and do things to
Dude,
you.
anytime I bring that up, Jared Fogle, the people are, who? I'm like the Subway guy. Who? Nobody knows.
Yeah, the guy that like
Really? He just got memory hold, huh?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Some
Uh-huh.
guy that worked at Subway was like, you know Jared Fogle? He was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, you should know.
That's like your old master, bro. What
Yeah,
the hell?
right.
Just
literally,
kidding.
literally.
Oh, you mean kind of like, you got Savior Fogle?
See, Fogel,
I got
Whatever.
Savior Sam here.
You ever
Save
read about his
yourself.
life?
This guy?
Yeah.
No.
Bro.
Eddie, you're the most profound guest we've had on so far. Holy shit!
Oh,
Tell me about Savior Sam's life.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I have a lot of time driving. So there's this podcast. You guys, honestly, you guys should listen to it if you guys are into like, even like not even just business, just like life in general, like people like doing great things. It's called Founders, and this guy he reads autobiographies of famous founders, entrepreneurs, and things like that. So he read Sam Walton's, and somebody told him, I think he worked at J.C. Penney. Some guy was like, "You're never gonna make a career in retail. You suck." So then, when he was older, he wanted to make his own retail store, but he lived in Alabama. He was from the South.
But you are telling this to the guy that worked at 1 for 6. You know they had made me read a handbook just on his story alone.
Oh, so you, yeah, so you
Yeah, I
know.
know.
I'll let you guys
yeah,
just think it's
yeah,
funny.
Put
right?
my mic down.
He opened up the first one, like Alabama, and his wife was like, "I'm not leaving Alabama. You want to do your thing, you gotta do it in
Yeah.
Alabama." But that was the perfect opportunity because all the other big box stores, Marshalls, Target, and all that, were in the big cities.
Yeah.
And he's has solved the need.
Yeah.
And
And
the
now
rural
he
areas.
takes out every small business in my area.
yeah,
He just
Dude.
he says, "Fuck your mom and pop shop. I'm coming to town."
they make $1 million on like every
Yeah.
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we could go on
wild.
about that for hours. Trust me. Your insight on Walmart and then my knowledge is from working there for 6 years firsthand, dude.
6 years,
Yeah,
dude.
it's a
That's
lot.
like a prison
Yeah,
sentence. We sent you to 6 years of Walmart.
yeah, literally. Like I did 6 years there, and
That's
but like I won't
wild.
get too off topic with that. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
definitely it's good. It's got you got a lot of good material. You know, what I mean, I'm working on a bit on Walmart in general right now.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, not. I don't want to. This is more about for highlighting you guys, other comics, fellow comics, stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
But that's funny. You know what I mean? But kind of going to like the whole what you get out of comedy, all that stuff. Like
Oh, insights on jokes I'm writing.
yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that too. So like
So
like what you guys
yeah,
yeah, if you want to provide like a snippet, if you want, you don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
to, but if you want, just so we can
So
kind of
I don't have like anything written. I have a bunch of different ideas I'm working on, and I
yeah,
have an idea of a comedic direction I'm working towards.
yep,
So when we did Brass Monkey on Thursday,
yep.
what is the second Thursday of every month?
I think she's gonna do it 2 times, but right now
Yeah.
it's one Thursday a month.
No, it's like the first. It's like the second Thursday
Oh
of every
yeah,
month,
yeah,
right?
yep.
Second Thursday of every month. Brass Monkey. Hit up D Tour Comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out.
Yep, this right here.
Yeah, yeah. D Tour Comedy. You guys got to go. It's like the best. This is the best time ever. That's
There
amazing.
you go.
So from being on D Tour, I tried to make this joke about illegal immigrants taking our jobs. Something about McDonald's.
Oh, you can keep
Oh
going.
no, I just wanted to make sure we're good.
No, the audience. Yeah, we're good.
Something about. No, you good.
I just like to come up and check the the time.
No,
That's
you
all.
good. I probably should have.
Well, no,
I should have been professional. I should have known. I should have known
Nah,
what you were
you're
doing.
good.
No,
Oh
you're
yeah,
good.
this is the most professional podcast ever.
Oh, this is blowing
Hey,
up. I
man,
can
we're
tell.
starting
No,
out,
you're
and
good.
this
It's
is
gonna
how
blow
it
up.
happens.
Guys, I
So
just like to get up and just check to make sure this thing is still recording. Not to derail, but if we had it cut out on us and we not know and talk for 15 minutes and just double checking. You'll see me get up one more time before anyways. But anyways, continue.
So I tried to make an illegal aliens are taking American jobs joke to highlight, illegal immigrants are taking American jobs, but what is an American job and blah blah blah, and spin that on his head. But then another comedian went up and he made an illegal immigrant joke, taking American jobs, and I was like, his joke was funnier than mine. He had more time in. It was more punchy, and I was like, I don't want to say a joke or say a subject that somebody else is gonna also say, even the same way. Like, so I want to move into a creative direction where I'm taking comedy more from deeper within myself than the world around me.
yeah,
So one thing is like to you guys, I'm Romanian, right? To you guys, I grew up. I'm from Romania,
yeah.
right? But I grew up in
You're very
America.
open
But like,
about it, yeah.
so like my culture is Romanian, whatever. But when I go to Romania, I'm an American. They
Yeah.
tell me I'm American. So like wherever I am, I don't fit in. I'm not from where I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
In America, I'm the Romanian. In Romania, I'm the American.
Don't worry, man. I see you as Eddie.
Dude,
I don't
thank
see you
you.
as the Romanian guy. I just like the Romanian comedy, man.
Thank you, bro. But I'm trying to make a joke
I
about
wouldn't
that.
know what the fuck you
Yeah.
were if you didn't tell me.
That's fast.
Say, oh, it's Eddie, the
People
American.
go, oh, you Portuguese? No, Romanian.
I
You
probably
could
would've
have
assumed you're
tricked me.
Portuguese.
all the
If you told me
time.
in Portuguese, I would have believed it.
If I shave my head buzz cut and I go to Miami, Papi, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not Spanish. All the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, more often than not.
No, I would definitely probably thought you're Portuguese. You're short, the dark hair. You know what I mean? Definitely. But that's funny. I think that is a good idea. I think you
You're
should
hairy
continue,
too. You
continue
got it
that.
all going for you.
Oh yeah.
He's hairy.
They had the hairiest.
Yeah, Portuguese people. We can say this because we are Portuguese, but they are very short and hairy, for
Yeah.
sure. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Especially if you got Italian and Portuguese.
Oh, I'm Italian.
Double
I'm
the hair.
Italian, Greek, Macedonian, and Romanian.
Oh, I
Those
thought
are
you
my
were 100% Romanian.
Oh, you're
No,
all kinds of
so-
hairy, man. That's awesome.
Little, little story, right? So I fucking was like, oh, I'm gonna do 23andMe because like you never know. And my dad was like, no, we know, man. We know Italian, Romanian, and Greek Macedonian. We know, man, what you are. I said, Dad, you never know. So I fucking spent $120. I took the test. Wouldn't you know? Romanian, Greek Macedonian, and Italian. I was
Your
pissed.
dad knows his shit.
I was pissed. Dude. I
Take it
spent-
from the guy that
$100
sticks lunch meat in his suitcase on the way home.
Oh, dude, you know what? He brought me ribeyes. I swear to God, he brought me ribeyes on the
Steak-
plane. I'm like, how
Suitcase
did you get
ribeyes.
through security? You can't even bring a drink
Yeah.
through security. They
Yeah.
put it in a chicken bag, man. They don't take it. They don't touch it.
Uh,
The
Keister
TSA
did.
knows
Yeah.
a real one. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they saw.
You
It's
know what? Like this guy's got some
wild.
delicious ribeyes coming through. Let him go. Let him go.
Man, it's the best meat I ever had in my life, man. I said,
It's
Dad.
been sitting in my luggage for a whole layover. It's all good.
I was joking. I was like, steaks with the taste of underwear,
Yeah.
delicious.
Is that a shit stain on your underwear? That's just barbecue sauce from,
Yeah.
from the ribs.
Is that blood? No, I like my steak rare.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's funny. Yeah, dude, I think you got a lot of good material there. You know what I mean? And you've definitely been hitting the scene like crazy. You've been to, more open mics, like in the fact that like you've tried out other ones, and
Yeah,
I'm trying. Me and Rob are also trying to get some other open mics, but I give you a lot of credit and respect for, you told us about the Kinsman, and then
yeah,
you've been going to Pub on Park. You've been doing a lot, and we've been doing it a lot together more lately, which I'm pumped about because we're hitting Kinsman as well,
yeah.
on a Friday. But my
Oh
next,
yeah,
yeah, dude, we've been
the
doing a lot
Tres
together.
Amigos
Yeah,
going in,
Yep.
it's
man.
it's so
And
much better
Kyle,
going with
can't forget
friends,
about
Wednesday,
dude.
Kyle
Friday.
Cody,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
we're
shout
gonna
out to
forget about Kyle.
Yeah,
KFC,
Kyle's our
KFC,
boy.
KFC.
He's an
So
unforgettable man.
Yeah,
Can't,
he's
can't
I
awesome.
love
He's
Kyle.
awesome, bro.
I love
He's
Kyle.
awesome.
I love the fact that I've known him for so long too. Everyone's like, "It must be a comedy," but like, I've known Kyle since I was in middle school, and
Wow.
he's a good friend of mine. But anyway, so like, shout out to him. But his future comedy, he's doing shows, all this stuff. So what do you want in the future with comedy, man? Like, what's your goal?
My goal, I would say, honestly, is definitely I want to do comedy.
Yeah.
Like I just want to like do shows, get better, and then like honestly, if I could like tour the country,
So you
you
want
know.
to make it a full-time gig?
Yeah, I do. I do, to be
so
honest.
so just like on that note, they already know I texted them, but I was at the Mohegan Sun Arena today. Can't say much more than I was just there on work, but I had a chance to actually stand in the middle of the arena and
Mm-hmm.
just look all around as they were setting up the stage for a certain act that's coming into town. And I was just thinking, like, it's one of these guys that's gonna be seeing that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
I could see Eddie up
Eddie,
there.
dude, Eddie, you're a
Oh,
funny guy, man. I
thank
could
you,
see you
man.
up there, dude.
I think,
Absolutely.
and everybody we get on here is hilarious in their own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I want
for
to
sure.
highlight that
Oh, I could
too.
see y'all up there,
You know what
but
I mean?
obviously we got Eddie on the couch right now. But oh my god, I was
Eddie on
Yeah,
like,
the
Eddie's
casting
fun.
couch.
absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and honestly, I I'm pumped honestly to, have you on here and have all the other comics that are gonna be coming on here. This
Yeah.
is great because my thing is like we want to shed a light on anybody that, like doing hustling out there, whether it's local or anything, or out it's Rhode Island or Mass or whatever, you know what I mean. But I do, I mean, keep working at it. I'm sure you can reach that goal. You know what I mean. Definitely, you got the drive for it. So, you know,
Thank you, man. I'm trying, and like when you asked me too, like earlier, you were like, what got me into comedy? Something in me always wanted to do comedy. Like
mm,
I would like go to sleep sometimes at night
I
after
believe
watching
it,
like a stand up. Yeah, like watching
100%.
Dave Chappelle and like I want to do that. I want
Yep,
to do what he's doing right
yep,
now.
and it shows.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Absolutely.
It like drives you, pushes you.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on to our podcast because we're just starting this thing out, and what I mean, definitely, it helps us, and helps everybody, that gets on here, and definitely, it's like you just never know what's gonna come of it. I think that's the best part about doing comedy. It's like,
Yeah.
and then watching each other grow. Like I've seen Rob progress, I've seen you progress, and I mean, I feel like I'm progressing in my own way. It's a lot of
Oh,
fun.
for
You definitely
sure.
had a fucking breakthrough when you did that roast.
Yeah,
Me?
you should just be an
Oh,
Yes,
insult
thank you.
comic. All right,
you had it. No, I don't think you limit to that. But yeah, are you going tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
God.
I put our names in. Remember?
Oh, that's right, because
Because
Matt's
you're
not
not going
going,
tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
I'm
and
taking a
Yeah.
break
Dirty
tomorrow.
Grandpa
I
ain't
am.
going.
No.
So if you
I
don't know what
won't
we're
be there
talking about,
Friday.
they have an open mic at the Blue Moon Pub in Cranston on Phoenix.
Yep,
Shout out every Wednesday,
every
Um,
8:30.
Wednesday.
and then
So,
we'll be at the Kinsman on Friday. All three of us with
Hell
Mr.
yeah.
Kyle and the rest of our troupe that goes to these
Yep.
open mics that we hang out
Yeah.
with.
So,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah. You know what I realized? Like you were saying, the breakthrough on the roast thing.
yeah.
I realized I didn't know that I did this, but I did. I made a callback in the joke
There you go.
when I said you wouldn't like Ukraine because there's no kids because Russia blew up everything, right? And then
Yeah.
I said, but at least you satisfy your parole requirements not to be within 500 feet of a school of children.
Yeah.
And then I said the next joke was you should have the license plate with the shark so everybody knows you're a predator on the roads. And then I
Okay.
immediately said touch lambs didn't close. It was on the same road as the school. That was a
Yeah.
callback.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't
Yeah, it
even know that
was.
I did that at all. I was like thinking about it because I got high as shit the other day, and I was like, "Whoa!" I did a
That's awesome.
callback. I was like, I didn't know I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not trying to toot my own horn,
Dude,
but like
I think
from
callbacks are great.
writing, you start to
Yeah.
realize You
Yeah.
don't realize you're progressing,
Yeah.
and then you have to look back at your stuff and be
Yeah.
like, "Wait, like you have to analyze your. I did do. I wrote
Yeah.
something."
No, I mean, you're definitely doing a good job. And like I said,
Absolutely.
with your future, I think you're gonna, definitely go somewhere, man, and keep on chugging along. And yeah,
Hey, I hope you
fucking
guys are there with me, man. Because like
yeah,
you were saying, you start comedy, right? and then you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And now I'm on a fucking podcast with my two fucking boys.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
Fuck
saying?
yeah, dude.
Like,
It feels amazing, and yeah, it's great to know you, man. I'm glad we met.
great to know you guys too. I'm so glad I sat at that table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Now we're like,
no hate to
now
the
we're
other
good buddies.
table.
No,
Other table was
but now
sick
we're
too.
like, we text each other every day. We're
Yeah.
hanging out. Like,
We had a comedy group
you're
chat.
a genuine friend now, and I fucking
Yeah.
love it.
Well, comedy is cool because like I've been. I know you guys can agree, but we met some great people. We're making friends, and honestly, I think it brings out like an artistic side, like you know what I mean. That I
Yeah.
think we all kind of chase at that point. Because if you're interested in comedy, you have you have some type of drive to like create something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
It's definitely opened up an avenue for me. Like I'm like now like what else can you do with this? And that's why me and Rob started the podcast. What else can we do with our having fun
Yeah.
writing for comedy and stuff like
We're
that?
looking into sketch if
Dude.
you're into that.
Oh, I sometimes when I write a joke, I'll be like, this is so much better as a sketch. But where am I
Yeah.
gonna fucking make
Yeah.
a sketch right now?
Yeah.
So
So-
yeah.
Just saying real quick though to everyone that's listening, like this is where we probably end it, but we're good if you guys are good. If you want to go a little extra, because I like to also ask what your writing process looks like.
Yeah,
I
for
make
sure.
it a point I want to ask every single person that sits on the couch if they want to share it. Some people
Yeah.
don't like to give out the
Yeah.
secret
Yeah,
sauce.
tell us, like I said,
But-
tell us about your writing process, and then
Yeah, you did give us some insight there a little bit with how you were structuring based on the books you were reading, but what does it look like for you?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of a joke I'm trying to write right now. I think I have again stories, trying to be about my life, be more about like things like related to me, to be more unique. I was talking to my dad the other day, and so my parents live in Florida, and my dad's a construction worker. Yeah, my parents they lived in Florida for a couple years now, and my dad's a construction worker down there. But he has like he's always had his own construction business, but it's just been him, like self-employed. And my mom went to Colombia. My mom likes to go to Colombia sometimes, just to get like work done, get her blood done. It's cheaper down there. The doctors are nice. She has good doctors. So he's by himself in Venice, Florida, working on a house, doing like construction on a house. And he smokes my dad smokes more cigarettes than the entire country of China. Like he smokes so many. It's so bad, dude. 2-3 packs, probably like almost 2.5 packs a day. And he drinks. My dad has a philosophy: if it's a bad day, he needs a beer. If it's a good day, he needs a beer. Literally.
I'm existing, drink a beer. I
Absolutely,
fucking
right?
breathe today, drink a beer.
So like I'm like, Dad, like you're by yourself. You could have like a stroke, a heart attack. Nobody would know until you're like already gross looking. Like nobody would know.
So you're shitty and rotting on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, yeah. Till you like
It's
smell
terrible.
bad. We have to have a closed casket funeral.
The smell of pastrami
Yeah,
and
is that the-
ribeyes
Yeah,
is good.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
good.
the
Is
last-
that the
Just
ribeyes
kidding.
in his luggage, or is that him fucking rotting?
The
No
last time I saw you,
disrespect
you
to
brought me
Marin.
you brought me little steaks in the luggage.
Mm.
So I'm like, Dad, like if you die, like that's not good. You know, men, I don't care if I die, man. Death is a new beginning. I'm on the
Fuck
phone
yeah,
for
dude.
you, for me, motherfucker. You're dead. Like for me now, mom's calling me. I'm going to Colombia. I need money, Dad. I don't have money, mom. Like, so like that was like something that happened between him and I was like, that's pretty funny. Like I want to write that down and like tell people about that.
Mm.
But the setup to get to just that part is so long that I have to write a whole entire joke, first starting off about my parents, laughing in between, explaining it. Like I have to have other jokes leading up to that joke and then leading to like a conclusion. But that's
Yeah.
why it's hard to write stories,
Yeah.
you know, as
Oh.
opposed to just, you know, a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my gender fluid joke is, oh, I'm gender fluid now. That's the
Yeah.
setup. And then I go into like explaining it, but like really writing like stories and stuff like that, like real like conversational comedy is very hard,
Yeah.
very difficult.
No, I definitely think you know, it sounds kind of similar what I've seen, like as a suggestion, and what I've some of like what I've done too. You know what I mean? I'm sure Rob can relate, but I think a lot of it at the end of the day is just writing your comedy down. If you
Mm-hmm.
My big thing is like if it's funny, you thought about it, just write it down. Everyone tells you that. Oh, you just
I
write it down.
I wrote down one today when I was working at Mohegan. I was looking over the parking garage and I was like, oh, I don't like heights. The guy was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't, because I also don't like flying. Yeah, probably a height thing. And I was like,
Go figure. How
and-
ironic.
yeah, how ironic that I'm so fucking tall. I'm just scared to look.
You're like the second
just-
person I know that has like
Same
fear of
here.
heights but tall.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
third
I'm,
then.
I'm 6'3" and
Yeah, I
I'm scared
fucking
just to
like-
stand up.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I wish I was a little taller. I wish I was scared of heights.
How tall?
So
are
just
you?
shit like that, man. So I
Five,
definitely
five
Yeah.
on a good day.
How old are you? Wait, what?
But 5'5" on a good day.
5'5". Damn.
Eh,
get it. You have to
Damn.
get those little step up
5'3".
things that you put in your shoes.
5'3".
You can borrow. You
on a
can. Yeah.
bad day.
You need a step stool. You know what I mean? My wife's
Dude,
pretty short. You
it's
can borrow
so
hers.
it's so bad, bro. All the yeah. And what
You
sucks
get
when you're small, like in
Yeah.
height wise, you got to be wide. Or
If you were
people
at the
just think,
market, would you ask Matt to get something off the top shelf for you?
oh, for
Did you ask White Boy to get toilet paper for you at the top shelf?
Just
You
messing
just
just
with
walk.
get
you.
my joke, you know that, I
Hey, white
guess.
boy, can you help me, please?
Yeah, that happens all the time. You know
I'd
what I
probably
mean?
try to make myself look disabled so it's less sad.
Yeah.
I can't get up there. Can you please grab that for me?
Look.
I'm not sure to have a hunchback.
Yeah.
Please help me.
Oh, I can't move. Can you
Yeah.
get that for me?
I just walk over. I'm limping. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Eddie could kick all our asses,
Yeah.
Mr.
Just
BJJ over
No,
here.
no way. I mean,
this guy
you know,
rolls with the people.
I realized like they say this. Apparently, it's like when you do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you start seeing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and everything.
Mm.
And I think that's true because like we did that. I did that roast on Wednesday, right? And it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then I did brass on Thursday. I didn't think I did that good. I got nervous. I panicked. I forgot all my other jokes, and I literally hopped off the stage. And I felt defeated in that
Yeah.
moment. And then I was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and one of my buddies over there was like, "How's the comedy going?" And I was like, "Dude, I kind of bombed on Thursday."
Mm.
And then it made me think about it. And I was like, you know what? I've gotten my ass kicked 100 times at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I come back all the time. But then I'm getting better. Like
Yeah.
I'm getting knocked on my ass all the time,
Yep.
but I'm getting better.
And
So
you
it's
le-
all part of the process.
Yeah, when I was doing it, it was like just last 5 more seconds. And you go back next week, just last even 5 more seconds.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, it's so funny when you're talking about just being in the world and seeing BJJ in the world. When you first start and you're breaking through and you're a white belt, like the shitty meme is like you
Yeah.
think about like you're at the cashier at like Walgreens and you're like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wonder what it'd be like to roll with that guy.
Absolutely. And when somebody
Wow.
pisses you off, like I probably beat him up if he
But
doesn't
you
know
probably
anything.
won't, yeah. Just like, yeah, and every single time it was like it's just like you size people up. Not to sound shitty. I got my
No,
ass
no, you
kicked
just
so many fucking. I was a shitty
So you're
All
a
the
jiu-jitsu
time.
player,
You're a
really.
fucking bully.
No, no, I was the shittiest jiu-jitsu player ever. But
yeah,
it's just so funny to think that way. You're just like, I wouldn't be like to roll with that guy. Just friendly.
yeah,
Like, look at his body type. Holy shit, is it like what would that be like? You know what I mean?
yeah. But no, you need so much humility to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then you need humility to do comedy. Because if you've
Goes
never
hand
done
in
comedy,
hand.
you're gonna bomb. But some comedian told me, and Kyle, when you were at Comedy Connection,
Mhm.
he was telling us that Brian Bowden, the guy,
Yep.
told him this. He said, you want to keep doing comedy when you bomb. Because instead of going, I'm going to quit, you're going to do better.
Yeah.
Dude, I said that. Dude, that's awesome that he said that because I have the same sentiment. I don't know if it was in the intro episode or episode whatever. So one of the solo ones we got going. I said
Yeah.
the same thing. When I do anything in life that's challenging, you get to a point where it's like you get that defeated moment, and do you quit or you keep going? So of course I bomb every fucking time almost, but
Yeah.
it's like you go up there and you bomb. What happens? Do you
Yeah.
get discouraged and you leave, or do you come back motivated?
Yeah.
If you come back
Yeah.
motivated, man, that's a sign.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I'm noticing from having practiced like things that you could consider like art forms in a way. So like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is an art form, right?
Yeah.
Comedy is an art. But
Mhm.
people don't realize that entrepreneurship is also kind of like an art form because it's all about like it's like the same like you're gonna get defeated, you're gonna get beat up, and it's all about finding your own way of doing things, but everybody's trying to achieve the same thing.
Mhm.
So there's this like life lessons and everything, right? And there's this entrepreneur, again from the Founders podcast. I think he started Y Combinator. You guys know what that is?
Mhm.
Say that again.
Y Combinator.
No, I haven't heard of this.
It's a so you know what startup incubator is?
Okay.
You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a startup incubator for like tech companies in California. So you pretty much tell them I have an idea, I have a business partner who's helping me, like we're trying to make a product, and they help you blow your company up. And this guy has helped thousands of companies start, and he has this profound statement where he goes, "Determination beats intelligence every time." Because usually when somebody starts a business, you would think, "Oh, they're super smart," and he goes, "No, determination beats intelligence every time." You could take somebody who's the smartest person in the world, somebody who's the most determined, and the determined person would outbeat the smart one every time. Because yeah, these people who aren't the smartest have businesses that are like garbage men, construction businesses, plumbing businesses, but they're rich. But the intelligent guy gave up because he said, "This task is too insurmountable. I can't do this. I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna try something else."
Mm.
But if you just stick with something, eventually you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So
So
you'll get
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
so you think pretty much the
It's a
moral
great
story
little
is
nugget of wisdom right there.
yeah. You're like yeah. I think you're providing some good insight, and I guess what I'm trying to say to wrap up your point is like to so I can understand. You're pretty much saying that if in comedy, like you'll eventually figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta try. You gotta put in the work. You can't just say, I'll figure. Like
Yeah.
some people do that. Like, oh, no, you gotta keep trying, give it your all, stay determined, don't put yourself down, and you'll figure it out.
I get that, man. I was up till 2 in the morning this morning, friggin' just writing and rewriting,
Really,
and
dude. That's
I
determination.
and you'll see, and if you look, I hate referencing episodes over and over, but just so it doesn't sound like I'm repeating
Mhm.
myself. But I'll take a random sentence generator, and I'll do
Yeah.
it kind of what you said he did in the book, and I'll try to look at it. What's the expectation? Smash it. What do you come up with?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like last night, it was something stupid like Andy loves to sleep on a bed of nails, and I was like, lucky for him, he had a great fingernail collection.
I mean,
Or lucky
yeah.
for him, he had a bunch of dead hookers and he stuffed them
Oh,
in his
jeez.
mattress.
That's pretty
You know,
funny.
whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid shit. But the whole point is not to come up with a joke. It's just to exercise that part of your brain.
Yeah.
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 And just write things down. I was rehearsing my set for cellos on the 30th today, and I wrote down my intro where I kind of, and I don't want to give too much away, but I talk about myself, I talk about Rob, and then I just write it down. I just write it down a bunch of times, and then I repeat it over and over again, and I'll just walk around. I got this little, I don't have it with me, but it's like a little figure, like a little statue guy, and I hold that as the mic, and like,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, screw it,
dude,
dude. That's
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's like a little plastic piece, but just use that as a mic, as like just to hold it in your
Yeah.
hand to pretend you're doing it. But yeah,
I noticed that on Thursday when we were at the Brass Monkey,
hmm
because you just said your jokes. You just
hmm
said them.
yeah,
You didn't look at anything. You had
I
a
just wung it.
yeah. But dude, it
Yeah,
worked, and I admired that because
yeah,
I was relying on my book too much because I've been using the book, and
yeah,
then I panicked, and I was like, I gotta start like
yeah,
practicing my jokes, and I can tell that you try to memorize them and you
yeah,
practice them.
yeah.
You know?
Appreciate it. And I think that's what it is. If you ever got a set, just tell it like tell your set from the beginning. Even the intro, I even practiced myself going, "Oh, thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me." I practice all of that because it's literally like my brain says, "All right, thank you." I know my brain triggers the next sentence and goes all the way down.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
Dude,
mean?
it
kind of like
shows.
it's kind of like cues, like
Yeah.
hitting cues as you talk,
hmm
and then you pick up on
Yeah.
the cue and it jogs your memory.
But I think there's nothing wrong with using a notebook and an open mic. It's an open mic. That's the time to practice.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. And like I see people do all the time. And the only reason I didn't do it at Brass Monkey is I kind of want to see how I could do it without that,
Yeah.
without
And that's the
just knowing
perfect
it.
place to do it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Well, some more things about writing jokes too, that and something else. Again, you're always gonna learn something in comedy. You keep doing it.
hmm
Um, is so when, again, like with the joke writing process is my in my notebook, I have like a like literally it says subject on the book,
Yeah.
and so I write like the core idea of the joke,
hmm
and then I'll try to pick as many ideas as I can off of that.
hmm
Like a lot of jokes have just been like inspirate, like jokes that just come to me.
Yeah.
But I have been trying to work on like if I'm writing a joke and an idea comes to me,
hmm
I want to expand upon that idea. So
hmm
I'll put like the subject and I'll like write a bunch of stuff, write a bunch of jokes, and then I realized there's two forms of open mics.
mm
So you can do the same open mic twice. Like we can go every Wednesday, right? But if I
Yeah.
go the first Wednesday with this new joke that I wrote, I'm gonna I count every joke I write in that set list in
hmm
that 5 minutes, whatever it is, and then I put like one, two, three, four, and then on the left side of my notebook,
mm
it's blank, right? So I probably should explain this. I
Yeah.
have two sides of my notebook, right side, left side.
Yeah.
The right side I'm just writing jokes,
Yeah.
writing the joke out. The left side I write notes that correspond to what I'm writing in the
Yeah.
book. So then for every joke, for every punchline, I'll write one, two, three, four on the
hmm
right side, number them, and then I'll put just one, two, three, four down a list on the left side, and I'll start saying the jokes, and if they hit, then I put a number between one and three.
That's a good idea.
So one is you get like people are like, haha, that's pretty funny, you know. Two is like people are like, ha ha ha, like that's actually funny.
Yeah.
And three is like at the roast, people are like going crazy. That's a three. So you do that, you write
Damn
all your
good idea.
punchlines, figure it out. But then
Yeah.
here's the next part that I just realized now I gotta start doing. You gotta write your jokes. You gotta say them in open mic, see if they're funny. Then the next open mic,
Mm.
you gotta try to memorize that shit and do it without
Yeah.
the book and get good at that.
Yeah.
And then you'll be ready for a
Absolutely.
show.
It's so funny that you do that. I thought I was the only one.
Oh,
So
you do that
I
too?
have a similar system, but I put a check mark if it hit, a squiggly equal sign if it was
Yep.
and an X if it sucked,
Yeah.
and a question mark if I wrote it down but didn't do it.
Yeah.
And at the end of my notebook, I tally up how many checks, how many and
Mm-hmm.
how many I didn't do.
Yeah.
And the ones with the most check marks and I bring back for the table and see if they get more check marks than as. And the
Yeah.
question marks I'll try, and the X's I give 3, 4, or 5 chances maybe, and then I get rid of them.
So same thing. You do one, two,
You
three,
give yourself
four.
a personal rating system.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Same thing.
hey, we're on the same track, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's funny because you came up with it yourself, right?
I did. Yeah, I have no idea.
I read it on a thing that I read on the
Oh,
internet.
really?
Yeah, and this girl,
Oh, that's
the
crazy.
quote was
I'm gonna
like,
try that.
"Jokes are like machine gun bullets. The more like you're just shooting out in the crowd and just finding out what hits,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
working on the hits."
And there was another guy, and maybe it was like Mark Norman or someone. They said every bomb is a teaching experience. So
Dude.
that X,
Yes.
There you go.
dude, for sure. Like when I bombed,
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
I bombed.
I'm glad I'm on the right track with,
Oh, dude,
with the
yeah.
pros. Holy shit,
Yeah.
that feels pretty good. But I'm cool. It's cool that you figured out that system.
Because
Yeah.
I bombed there, and then I bombed another time at a different mic, and I was like, the first time I bombed, I was like, I can't wing this. I gotta write.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, and I was like, I can't read out a notebook. I gotta remember
Yeah.
it.
Well,
It's a vicious cycle.
I
Up
think
and down,
you
man.
admitting that you bombed and here and there, like, dude, I've done. Every comedian does it sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think it's more of just a
Yeah.
crowd thing. But I admire the fact that you're open about it, and the fact that you're, like you said, your writing style is interesting, and like I said, I definitely think if you continue what you do, I think you'll definitely have a bright future in comedy. I think you definitely got what it takes, and
Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
man.
but then again, like anybody, I think anybody puts the time and work into it, but like you're
Yeah.
definitely, you got the drive for it, and my point, my ending point on that is like you're doing a bunch of open mics, so where pretty much where can we see you next? Like where do you want to like give a shout out? Like, hey, so if we want to see you perform right now, what open mics you gonna be at? And then
Yeah.
we'll close it out with that.
Yeah.
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 Let's do some plugs and
Yeah.
we'll do a
Yeah.
wrap up.
Yeah. So I mean, so where can people see you if they are interested in watching? What open mics will you be at this month or
Yeah.
going forward?
So you'll catch me every Wednesday at the Blue Moon Pub.
Yep.
Every Wednesday I'll be there, pretty much, for
Mhm.
the foreseeable future.
Yep.
Eddie, did you get confirmation that's going to be on Wednesdays?
I saw John actually
Oh,
posted on
really?
Facebook. He said this Wednesday, and correct me if I'm wrong. You have to check the post. He said, I believe he said every Wednesday, and
They decided to keep it. So just so if anyone didn't know, they did like 2 trial runs and they weren't sure if they're going to continue, but it sounds like they're going to continue.
yeah. So Wednesdays we catch you, and then
Yeah.
any
Cool.
other mic or
Thanks.
two that you'll be at.
Every first Thursday of the month,
Mhm.
I'll be at Detour. Wait, is it first
Yep.
Thursday or second Thursday? I always forget.
It's
It's
usually
the
lands on like
second.
the 13th, right? So
Yeah,
probably
So it's the second
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, so every second Thursday of the month, I'll be at Detour, pretty much, unless something happens, like get into a car accident or something.
Yeah.
And then you'll catch me sporadically Fridays at the Kinsman's
Sweet.
Tavern. Yeah.
Well, sounds good, man.
Yeah.
We'll be there with you. So, like, guys, Eddie's
I'm
funny.
excited.
He's funny as hell. He's hilarious.
He is, man.
That's
He's a good friend of
hilarious.
ours, Kyle.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so you guys can catch him open mics, and any shows he's got coming up, we'll definitely check out his Facebook, check out his Instagram. I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
be promoting that way, and yeah, so appreciate you guys tuning in on
Thank you,
that.
guys.
Thanks, Eddie. Dude, that was awesome.
Appreciate
Man.
you
Good
guys.
combo.
This is
All right, thanks for
fire.
watching. Next week, we'll have me and Rob, and then after that we have another guest coming on. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, right on. All right, guys. See ya.
Catch you guys.
Later.